Hey all, it's Bay bringing you Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and today I have received some comments saying can you do the German new characters review, and since I already did went over briefly on these characters when they first came out, I thought rather than going over each one of them, which I think is a bit too late, I decided to do something else, something more in-depth, and I think something more many of you are very keen to know. Yeah, so which is, I think most of you already are aware the importance of goalkeeper in this game, right? Goalkeeper is the most important position in this game. The reason is simply because you can only put one goalie in starting lineup, rather compared to other positions like forward or OMF, AM, DM, where you can put 2-3 characters in each position depending on the formation, right? Any formation you use, you can only put one goalie, right? Of course, obviously. So that's the reason why the goalkeeper has to face many forwards or AM characters who will be shooting against you, and you'll have to really control the stamina of the goalie and think of which skill to use in a variety of occasions. That's why goalie is super important in this game. And because after this 1-year anniversary event, there are now many goalies that are strong and really epic, super strong characters are now here. Now that these characters are here, I think many of you are really keen to know how strong this new Wakabayashi is and how strong this new Muller is, right? And what about the comparison between these two? Which is stronger, Muller, Wakabayashi? Especially for those who have recently started or who is doing reroll right now, or maybe keen to know. Like, for example, those of you who successfully got new Wakabayashi at the past reroll is now confused whether he should reroll once again to aim for Muller. Maybe there's people like that as well. So I would like to go over which is strong, or to jump to the conclusion, I will tell you that these two are both super strong, way stronger than all the past goalkeepers. So whichever you get it's super good. You should just start off with whichever character, but let me go over in depth for these two characters, okay? I think that's what's most important, and many of you are really wanting to know this information. So I made an Excel like always. It's some of them are in Japanese, but most of it I translated in English. So on the left is Wakabayashi, the new Wakabayashi, and on the right it's the new Muller. Okay, I'll put on some BGM. So sorry. On the very left is the raw data, where it says raw data on the Wakabayashi and Muller, is the each stats of the character after leveling these characters to max, including the coach. Okay, so Wakabayashi's punch stats is 6,422, catch is 8,743, speed 5,080, power 6,002, technique 7,087. And I think for those who've been playing this game for a long time is already aware, but to calculate the actual punching and catching stats, you have to add the speed, power, technique figures on top of punch and catch. And to calculate punch actual stats, you need speed and power, and for catch you need power and technique. Okay, so how to do the math is to calculate the actual punch, you add speed plus power divided by 4, and then you add that on top of the punch, which is 6,422, and when you do that it becomes 9,193. And as for catch, you do the same math, which is power plus technique divided by 4, and you add that to 8,743, which is the catch stats. It becomes 12,015. Okay, and why there is another column on the right is because you have to put Wakabayashi's passive into account, which is safety zone, which means when opponent shoots outside the penalty area, the box, all his stats becomes 20%. gets 20% boost. And when you do that, it becomes his punch becomes 11,031 and his catch becomes 14,418, which is a super big beast, right? Yeah. And his main skill is perfect SGGK catch, right? That's strength of that skill is 290. And how do you add that and come up with the actual strength of the skill, including the stats, is the below. So it says PA, some kanji, right? On the top one, where it says 34,844 is when the opponent shoots inside the box. So how to do this math is you multiply the catch stats by 290, but you divide that 290 by 100. So it becomes 2.9. Okay, the strength of the catch. So you multiply 2.9 to the catch stats, which is 12,015, which becomes 34,844 when the opponent shoots inside the box. And when the opponent shoots outside the box, because he gets that passive's 20% boost, you do 14,418 times 2.9, which equals 41,812. So that is the actual skill power of Wakabayashi at level 1. I mean, when I say level 1 is, I mean I'm talking about the skill level. Yeah. So this is super strong. Okay, very strong. So this Wakabayashi is a beast, and for those who got this, just go on and play with this account because it's a miracle pool for you. Okay, but on the right is the Muller. So his raw data stat is 7,561 punch, 8,315 catch, and when you do the actual math, his punch becomes 10,629 and his catch becomes 11,440. Okay, so when you compare these to the new Wakabayashi, he's more balanced. Both punch and catch is super high. Of course, he's more edgy on catch, but compared to Wakabayashi, whose catch is much more edgy compared to his punch, Muller is basically strong on both sides. Yeah. And since his passive is different from Wakabayashi, I can't do the third column or row. I don't know how you call it. But instead, he has another different passive where the more stamina you have left, you get more boost on the power of the skill, not the stats, the skill. Okay, so his main skill is wild catch. It's a catching skill where at level 1, his this skill's strength is 270. So it's compared to perfect SGGK catch, it's a bit weaker. So, but when you do the math to calculate the actual strength of the skill, it becomes the below on the very bottom right. So on top it says 30,883. This is when you do his catch times 2.7. Okay, without the passive. So without the passive, he only gets his actual skill power is 30,888. Whereas if he has the 30% boost, when for example he has a maximum stamina, which is 1,006, his catch or whatever skill will be boosted by 30%. So when it comes to wild catch level 1, it will become 40,154. So when you compare this to Wakabayashi's actual perfect SGGK strength, it is still a bit lower when it comes to opponent shooting from outside the box. But when the opponent shoots from inside the box, Muller is much stronger. So it really depends on the occasion, you know, what kind of situation you're in, which is stronger. So you can't do the direct comparison between these two because it's really unique, these two characters' passive. Yeah. So it really depends on the situation. So I would say both of them are very strong, and it's just the matter of what kind of situation you're in, which is stronger, right? So you can't really calculate that. You can't take those things into account because you don't know what's going to happen in each game. Yeah. But to be more precise, I did some verification or I played using the Muller because I got the Muller in many occasions, going up against some AI matches. So I did all types of situations so that I know at which stamina level how much boost I get. Yeah, I did that very precisely. So this is the Excel. Sorry, it's in Japanese, but on the very left, it's the stamina. So his maximum stamina is 1006. And then on the next second column or row, it's the power after the boost. And the right is percent, as you can see. So how much percent you get as a boost. And then so at 1006, the power of Wild Catch level 1 was 351, which means he had the 30% boost. And then his 30% boost lasted until 800, when the stamina was 823. Okay, as you can see. And when it became 776, his stamina, power of the skill went down to 347, which is 29%. And when the stamina went down to 741, the power went down to 343, which is 27%. And then so on, as you can see in this Excel. So when stamina goes down to 716, it becomes 339, which is 26. 641 stamina is 329 strength, which means 22% boost. And so on. Please check it yourself. Please stop the video or whatever you can and check it out for yourself. But as you can see here, until about 80% of the stamina, he maintains the 30% boost. And once it goes below 80%, it goes down. The boost goes down to 29, 27, 26. But what I found that's good about this passive is even after you go below 80% of the stamina, it only the boost only decreases little by little. It's really precisely broken down. So I was thinking before I did this verification, I thought it was gonna be like once it goes down, the boost will go down by like at some range, not so precise. But actually, it was so precise that even if you go down to like 60% of the stamina, where the stamina level is like 611, you still have 20% boost, and your level 1 wild catch will still be 325 strength. 325 is like Wakabayashi's perfect SGK catches. It exceeds that by 35 strength, because perfect SGK is 290 at level 1, right? 35, which means it's like 15 or more black balls, level 15 or above, which means, you know, so it's still strong. Even if the stamina level goes down to 600, it's still strong. And you know, even if you go even below that, you still get like 17%, 14%, 13% boost. So it's really much easier than I thought to use this character. Yeah. So after doing this, understanding how the boost goes down, now that I know, right? I understood that like for example, the game match starts, right? And at the first half, you are in the situation where you have to use wild catch once without using full power. Okay, wild catch stamina consumption is 365. So if you do 1006 minus 365, it becomes 641. Okay, so if you look at my Excel, when you have 641 stamina, you get 22% boost still. But if you go into halftime after just using one wild catch, your stamina recovers by a bit, and it becomes 823, okay, after halftime. So from the second half, you get to have another 30% boost at the very first matchup for Muller. If you can see my Excel, 823 means the fourth row, which is 30% boost still. you still get 30% boost at 8 to 3 stamina. So if you use one wild catch for the first half, you still get to use another wild catch with 30% boost on the second half. Moreover, if you use 2 wild catch under full power condition, because when you use full power and the stamina consumption of all the skills will become half, right? You get to use 2 wild catch. And if you go into halftime, you get the stamina recovers to above 800, which means you get another 30% boost. So please study this and put this in your head and calculate and think of the boost level you still have after using, in each situation, so that you know when to change Mueller to another substitute goalie. Yeah, but I think with this calculation, I understood that you don't really have to change Mueller even after stopping many shots in the first half, because when you recover, you get to have another most of the times probably you'll recover to at least 70% or so, which means you still have 25% or more boost from the second half, which is good enough, right? Yeah. And since Mueller has one-handed catch and other stuff, and since his punching stats is pretty high as well, I think by using a variety of skills, you could maintain a certain level of stamina so that you could go into second half with a good enough boost. So this is some big finding, I think. Yeah, because I first thought before I did this calculation, the boost would go down drastically when the stamina level is low, but it wasn't like that, so which is a good news. So putting all these into account, I think if you compare Mueller against the new Wakabayashi, as I said in the beginning, you can't directly compare these two because both these characters have very unique passive that each situation things are different. But Mueller's boost is effective at any situation, whether in the box or outside the box, as long as you have a certain amount of stamina. Whereas Wakabayashi, it drastically goes down when the opponent comes into the box, right? As you saw here, his SGK perfect SGK becomes 34,800 from 41,800. So that's 7,000 drop. But Mueller only drops by little every time you use his skill when the stamina goes down, right? So, and if you think of his halftime recovery, yeah, I think Mueller might be better, especially when you take into account his type, which is agility, which have advantage against toughness. Yeah, if you compare these two as an opponent to each other, I would say Mueller might be better because his agility. Yeah, that's how strong this Mueller is. Yes, and Mueller, the way I think to defeat this Mueller is probably shoot as much as possible to decrease his stamina, right? So long distance shot, a character who has a long distance shot will be very useful. But the thing is, currently there's not many green type long distance shooter, right? There's not many. So if there's so many new 11 shot, or Rivolo Skyhawk shot is a long distance shot. Santana has a long distance shot, or I don't know who, I forgot, or new Aoi has a long distance shot. But these are really has disadvantage against Mueller. Rivolo has no advantage, but still, if you don't have this, if you have disadvantage, even if you do the long distance shot, right, it's not a threat to Mueller. So all Mueller has to do is use C rank skill or A rank skill, and which doesn't take up much of his stamina. So you can't lose his stamina, which means all that will do is give the ball away to the opponent, which is bad, right? Yeah, so I think at this moment in the current situation, I think it's really hard to lose Muller's stamina. Yeah. And so I think, I don't know, you can't do direct comparison like I said, but I think Muller is much I don't know, well, it really depends on the situation, but if you take the type into account, if you directly compare these two, if you do Wakabayashi toughness type team vs Muller agility type team, I think Muller agility type team has much bigger advantage, especially because, you know, agility is already strong against toughness. Yeah. That with all that said, of course, you know, I think in the future there's gonna be strong skill type goalkeeper will come as well. Like, I think my assumption, my guess is Salinas will probably be skill type. I don't know, this is my guess. But when that happens, of course, you know, these three type goalkeepers will, you know, have advantage and disadvantage depending on who you go up against. But at this moment, with this direct comparison, I think Muller has better advantage against Wakabayashi because of the type and because of the such a good passive skill. Yeah. So I hope this was useful. Please hit the like button and support me. I'll be doing a lot of these informative videos, PvPs, gachas, of course. I hope I don't be do more bad pools like I've been doing recently. But yeah, so please hit the like button, subscribe for those who haven't yet, and stay tuned for my next video. Thanks for watching, and bye.